Thank you for listening to Shulchanaruchharav.com.
Are avocado pits Muktzah on Shabbos? Can I use an avocado pit to prevent browning by placing it in an avocado dip, as many people are accustomed to do during the week? So this is an interesting question, which I have actually not found discussed in any sefer, specifically regarding avocado pits and its particular predicament. And therefore we have to be left to analyze its halacha based on the general Muktzah rules that we receive and we learn in chapter 308 in the Shulchanaruchharav, and how it would apply here. So the general rule is that pits and peels that are inedible are Muktzah on Shabbos as soon as they're removed from their food. So you finished eating a peach, the pit of the peach is Muktzah. You finish peeling an orange, the peel of the orange is Muktzah. And the only time we hold that pits and peels are not Muktzah on Shabbos is in a case that they are commonly fed to commonly found house pets and farm animals in the area, in which case we say it's considered a common animal food for this town. However, if it's not commonly fed to animals and pets in the area, then since it's inedible for humans, it's not practically eaten by animals here, therefore it's 100% muktzah, and therefore we have a lengthy discussion in the place regarding how do you clean your table on Shabbos from all the leftovers, as we've discussed in previous classes on the subject. So what then is special or different about the avocado pit that we should divert from the general rule, pits are muktzah? You see, generally, a pit, there's nothing to do with it. You just take it and throw it in the garbage during the week. But avocado pits are commonly saved by some people, or many people, to be replaced into the dip after the dip is made in order to prevent the dip from browning. As it is a tradition from Bubby to Bubby going back to the times of Adam, that avocado pits help prevent avocado from browning. So in this case, this is a case of an edible pit, not fit for humans, not fit for animals, but that is commonly designated for use as soon as it is removed from its fruit. Now, the rule is that when you designate an item for a use, it loses its muktzah status, so maybe so too here, avocado pits should not be considered muktzah, and you can take an avocado pit on Shabbos and place it into your avocado dip or guacamole. The only problem is as follows, however, that it doesn't help to designate an item on Shabbos itself. You can only designate an item to become non-muktzah if you do it before Shabbos. Furthermore, even if done before Shabbos, there's certain regulations that are followed, such as you have to designate it either forever or it has to be a common designation. It's not in all cases that we say you designated it so it's not muktzah. So based on this introduction, let us now give some clarity onto what should be the halacha l'maaseh, practical application to avocado pits on Shabbos. If you open the avocado before Shabbos, you made your dip, your guacamole, and now it's before Shabbos, you want to enter the pit into the dip, and of course you want to take it out on Shabbos. So you have a question, is the pit muktzah, or is my designating it to prevent browning enough of a designation according to halacha to prevent it from its muktzah status? And the answer is that it would not be muktzah in such a case, and it is permitted to do so. So this was clarified. You can take your avocado pit before Shabbos, put it in the avocado dip, which you're doing an action to designate it for its use, and then you can take it out on Shabbos and don't treat it as muktzah. And the reason for this is because it actually follows two allowances of designation. Number one, you're designating it forever for this use. There is no other use for the pit. As soon as you're done using it for this use, you're throwing it in the garbage, so it's considered designated forever, which is one of the valid ways of designation to revoke a muktzah status before Shabbos, as well as this is a common designation. So even if I want to argue, well, it's not going to be used for more than a day, nonetheless, since it's being used for a common use that people do use it for, therefore even temporary designation would work, as rules the Alter Rebbe in the Shulchanaruchharav, chapter 308:53 and 308:36, based on other poskim. And so is the halacha. Now let's move on to the case where I opened up my avocado on Shabbos, and I want to know what to do with the pit. So certainly before you remove the pit from the avocado, it's not muktzah, as would be the case by any fruit, that its peel or pit does not become muktzah till it's removed from the fruit. So if you cut it in half and you want to save the other half with the pit inside, that's fine, so long as you haven't removed the pit from the other half and then want to replace it. If, however, you did remove the pit from the other half, and now you want to know, can I put it back in to prevent it from browning? So here it's a bit trickier, as it doesn't help to designate an item on Shabbos itself. And since pits have a status quo of being muktzah, as we've already stated, there's no valid designation that has ever taken place to make it not muktzah before Shabbos. On the other hand, one can argue to the contrary, that the pit was never muktzah before Shabbos to begin with, as it was attached to a fruit, and when it's attached to a fruit, it's not muktzah. So now that I remove it from the fruit with intent to reuse, I never gave it a chance to become muktzah that I need to designate it to not become muktzah. And it would be similar to the ruling in the Alter Rebbe in 308.24 regarding vessels that broke on Shabbos, that if it's fit to cover an item, it's not muktzah. On the other hand, perhaps one can argue that in truth, how many people actually designate avocado pits to prevent browning? Most pits are thrown in the garbage. And even those people who designate, how many of their pits do they actually designate? They made 10 avocados, maybe 1 or 2 they designate. So the majority of all pits in the world are designated for the trash. And therefore, perhaps we have to argue that it's not similar to a vessel that wasn't muktzah before Shabbos and then broke, but rather to an item that's muktzah that needs pre-designation to unmuktzah it. Bottom line, to summarize, that from the above analysis it would appear that although before Shabbos designating the pit works, as we already explained, on Shabbos itself you should take the pit out and throw it directly in the garbage and treat it as if it is muktzah. And the only case we should allow it to remain is if you never took it out of the fruit and you left it inside in the other half. Now all the above discussion was based on the notion and the baba maisa that leaving an avocado pit in the avocado dip prevents it from browning. Problem is, this is not scientifically correct. Indeed, the area directly under the avocado pit will not brown, being that its oxygen is being blocked by the pit, just as if you would have placed a stone over there. But it does not prevent the remaining area of the avocado dip from browning, and therefore there really is no need to use an avocado pit on Shabbos for any use, as it doesn't do what it is claimed to do. So, aside from the muktzah discussion, if you really want to accomplish lack of browning on your avocado dip, use an airtight container to prevent entrance of oxygen. That is your best method, and not using a controversial avocado pit that both scientifically and halachically are under question.
Thank you for listening to Shulchanaruchharav.com. Our free services of making Torah knowledge available to the public depends on donors like you. Please help us continue our work through making even a small contribution at Shulchanaruchharav.com under the Daily Halacha Dedication section or in the subscription page. Also, check out our online courses and many sefarim available for purchase that will both enhance your Torah knowledge and help support our work.